What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we are diving back into Go Battle League. I took a little break this week as the servers were having a lot of issues and the game client wasn't optimized. There was a lot of errors with it, so I took a little break this week, but we're diving back in and we're coming back strong with a really unique team. There's no Azumarills, no Galarian Stunfisk, no Defense Form Deoxys, none of that. We have Lapras, Alolan Marowak, and Flygon. Now, I did do a video about Flygon earlier last week that did really well. That Flygon on the safe swap is absolutely phenomenal. We paired it with Azumarill and Abomasnow. Now, in this one, we're pairing it with Lapras and Alolan Marowak. That Lapras lead, having the legacy fast move of Ice Shard with Surf and Skull Bash, provides great coverage, huge bulk, and we're basically utilizing it to try to get the first shield and soak as much damage as possible, and then we are sweeping endgame with either Alolan Marowak or Flygon, and it worked out really well today. Overall 8-2 on the day, so some really solid sets here with these Pokemon. Now, if you guys want to know more about the team, more about the Pokemon, or maybe you have questions about the IVs that you guys see over there on the far side, I've been seeing a lot of comments about that. Stick around to after the battles, we're going to dive all into that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright, so diving back into Go Battle League. These battles were a lot of fun. We're in rank 6 still. Like I said, I took quite a long break just to take a step back. It's okay to do that. I'm not missing out. So here we go. We have Lapras on the lead versus Alolan Marowak. Pretty solid for us. Surf is going to be doing super effective damage. Shadow Ball as well is going to be doing a lot of damage to us. That's going to be neutral. But what's great about this matchup is we don't need to give up shields. What we're going to do is we're going to force them to shield. That's what this Lapras lead does. It forces the shields from the opponent, and you can soak a lot of damage. So right here, I don't need to shield a Shadow Ball or a Bone Club. They're not going to do a lot of damage to me, as you guys can see, but we can get to that Surf here in time, and a Bone Club will not finish us off. Now, I get a little bit of lag right there. As you guys saw, it skipped 2 fast moves, which is unfortunate. We're not going to shield, and we are going to be able to survive the Bone Club right there, and we can go for the Surf. That's why I said I wasn't worried if they were able to get the Bone Club, because we can survive just from the experience that I've had with Lapras. So we get a shield. Fantastic. This is absolutely what we want. This is about sweeping endgame with Flygon right now. So we're going to come in and load up on energy. Mudshot's doing super effective damage, and we absolutely destroy the Alolan Marowak right there. And whatever they bring in, we likely will have an answer for. It's going to be an Altaria. Perfect. This is why we have Dragon Claw. We already have 2 Dragon Claws before this Altaria comes in. So Altaria is going to get absolutely destroyed right here. It does so much damage, as you guys can see. We're going to constantly overcharge right here, just in case they decide to swap out, and I want to have some residual energy in the back, plus keep them guessing on how much energy I have. We land another Dragon Claw, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for the next one, and Alolan Marowak can now finish endgame. We still have 2 shields remaining, so whatever's in the back, it's going to be okay. The last Pokemon's going to be a Shiftry. That's fine. We go into the Alolan Marowak, and there we go, we sweep endgame. So Lapras, as you saw right there, it was a positive lead against the Alolan Marowak, but you don't always have to win that lead, right? You can sweep endgame with Alolan Marowak and the Flygon, which is fantastic. Now we're going to build up to do 2 Bone Clubs right here and go for the back-to-back. We got to get that shield. Now we are going to have to shield right here against the Shiftry. It has access to Foul Play, which is going to be doing super effective damage to our Alolan Marowak. We go for the double Bone Club, but Bone Club is not going to be enough, right? It's going to be resisted because of that grass typing. But 1 Bone Club and 1 Fire Spin, and we are going to be good to go right here. So that's a good game to my opponent, and like I said, you guys don't always have to win lead. Lapras is about getting those shields and soaking as much damage as you can so you can sweep endgame with Alolan Marowak and Flygon. So let's go ahead and move into the next battle here. We have some really good battles today, some lead losses as well. Now, I didn't see a Galvantula today, which I really wanted to see. That's why I have specifically Alolan Marowak and Flygon in the back as coverage for that. But we have Lapras on the lead versus Cherim, right? A lead loss right here. But the thing is, this Ice Shard does so much damage. This is why it's crucial to have an Ice Shard. And what we're doing is we're building up to Ice Beam. That's 5 Ice Shards, and I want to threaten them with shields. That's the goal of Lapras. Get the shields early. We get a shield right there. Fantastic. Made them think we had a potential Ice Beam, so they got to respect it. Now, you guys know what this is going to be. This is Solar Beam. I just got Solar Beam to the face, but that's okay. We can come in with Alolan Marowak and farm this time. First game we came in with the Flygon. This game we come in with the Alolan Marowak. They swap into Azumarill, and like you guys saw in a previous video, Flygon does really well in this situation because Earth Power does so much neutral damage, and all we have to do is be shielding those Ice Beams, which is fine. So we're going to overload on energy. We're going to go ahead and go for an Earth Power right here. It's going to do a lot of neutral damage, and Azumarills will typically not shield that first Earth Power. We got to look to shield bait the last Earth Power. So what we're going to do is we're going to build up right here. I know this is going to be an Ice Beam. We saw the moveset earlier. Even if it wasn't and it was play rough, it's still one shot us right there, so we got to be shielding, and we're going to overload on energy, and this is where we're going to go for that shield baiting opportunity. We're going to go for the Dragon Claw right here. Like I said, that first one they're not going to shield, and we do get a bit of lag right there, which is rough. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Dragon Claw, and I'm unable to count how many fast moves they're at, so I'm just going to swap to Alolan Marowak and hope I catch it. We caught it. So I had my game freeze right there, and I wasn't able to count the bubbles, but we still caught the Ice Beam, which is fantastic. They're going to swap out back into the Cherrim, which is beautiful. That was definitely a mistake by my opponent, because what's going to happen is we resist all the moves from that Cherrim, and we can farm down for energy. We still have a Flygon with a lot of loaded energy in the back because we went for the Dragon Claw shield bait as well. What we're going to see come back in is likely going to be a Azumarill. No, it's going to be a Skarmory, which is beautiful. This is where Alolan Marowak can really handle the Skarmory, and the Flygon can handle that Altaria like we saw in Game 1. We're just going to go for back-to-back Shadow Balls. Our Flygon is like one fast move away from an Earth Power, so I'm not too worried right here, but what I'm trying to do is just delay the switch clock as much as possible because that Azumarill is going to come back in. We have switch clock back up. We're going to go straight back into Flygon. As you guys see, we get to the Earth Power right away, and that is going to be a good game to my opponent. So again, losing lead, but getting that shield advantage is huge for this team. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle here. So I had a lot of fun with this team. I love running Alolan Marowak, everyone. A lot of you guys know that Alolan Marowak is my favorite Pokemon in the Great League. Pokemon of all time, Alolan Marowak. It's amazing. So let's see how this game goes. We have Lapras on the lead versus Jirachi, okay? Pretty tough matchup to face right here. Again, we're going to utilize Lapras to soak the damage. We're not going to swap out right away. Soak the damage, and we want to get some shields here or chunk some health. So we're not going to shield right here. Doom Desire is going to be doing neutral damage to us, and a lot at that. Jirachi's got to be respected, but we're going to go ahead and go for the Surf. If I get a shield right here, we're going straight in that Flygon because I'm guessing they have an Azumarill in the back. No, we don't get a shield, but we're going to go ahead and go into the Flygon anyways, and they bring in the Azumarill. So I was anticipating them shielding, but I pulled the trigger anyways. So let's see how this one goes. We're going to go ahead and shield right here. The Azumarill did come in, and it does have access to Ice Beam. So we're going to have to play this pretty interestingly because we're not too far ahead on energy. I think I have maybe one fast move up on this Azumarill, which is not enough to really flip this matchup, especially in the 2 shield, but they decide not to shield right there, which is fantastic. Like I said earlier, Azumarills don't shield early. They can soak a lot of damage, but now we're going for those Dragon Claws, hoping to get a shield right here, and we do get a shield. That is fantastic. This is going to help us out because now we can go for that Earth Power or go for back-to-back Dragon Claws right here. So let's see what happens. We're going to go ahead and shield. It is going to be that Ice Beam. Switch clock is coming back up, and I'm going to overload on energy. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earth Power right here, and I'm going to look to potentially swap into Lapras to try to catch the Ice Beam. So let's see what happens. No, we lay in the Earth Power. Beautiful. We're going to see Jirachi actually come back in. That's a tell that whatever's in the back is weak to Flygon, which also means it's likely going to be weak to our Alolan Marowak. So we're going to swap in the Alolan Marowak, get ahead on energy, because we are going to be resisting that Doom Desire because of our fire typing right here. So it's going to be resisted, which is fantastic. We're getting ahead on energy, and we're going to be able to farm down completely. Now, whatever is in the back has to face off against Alolan Marowak with energy. It's going to be a Skarmory. There we go. Beautiful. So we can go ahead and go for Shadow Ball right here. This is going to be doing a lot of neutral damage, and hopefully we can get to that next Shadow Ball in time to finish off this match. I don't think I'm going to make it, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Bone Club. Remember, we still have Lapras with about a quarter health and Flygon with a lot of residual energy as well, so we're actually looking okay. So like you saw right there, they're pulling off the Sky Attack, which is why I said I couldn't make it to the Shadow Ball. I needed to do that extra chip damage with the Bone Club. Now we're going to come in with the Lapras right here, and we're going to be able to get to the Surf in time, and that is going to be a good battle to my opponent. So like we saw, Flygon able to handle that Azumarill right there, and yeah, that was a good game. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. So this team heavily relies on the ability to sweep endgame. I'm going to preach that this whole video because you got to have a good positive shield advantage on your Alolan Marowak or Flygon. And then, okay, yeah, we have a Lapras versus a Shadow Venusaur, and this is likely going to be Razor Leaf, which it is. That's terrible. We're going to go into a Alolan Marowak this time. Can't swap into the Flygon. And we have an Alolan Marowak versus a Alolan Marowak Mirror. So they got to face off against me with an Alolan Marowak, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball right away. I definitely want to get shields. Like I said, we need shield advantage or flip the matchup, which is fine. Now, they are going to be building up a lot of energy. I'm just going to go ahead and go for a Bone Club right here because I'm guessing, you know what, maybe they aren't counting and I want to do some chip damage. We get a second shield. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to let Alolan Marowak go down. They're definitely overloading on energy, and I'm guessing because with Alolan Marowaks, you can get to Shadow Ball relatively quickly, that they weren't counting successfully, which is why I went for the Bone Club right there. So now we're going to come in with that Flygon right here and get a lot of energy. We're going to start loading up on all the energy in the world. Venusaur is going to be taking quite a bit of damage from the Dragon Claw and Earth Power, but we're going to go ahead and shield right here. Going to be that Shadow Ball, so great shield on us. They decide to swap out into Azumarill, which is fine. We're going to overload and then go on Earth Power right here. It's going to be doing neutral damage, and then we're going to swap into that Lapras, right? They just locked in their Azumarill, so now we can lock in our Lapras versus the Azumarill. We also catch the Ice Beam as well. We also kept some residual energy on Flygon. That's very important. You always want to have that extra residual energy, and it's going to come in clutch here at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to build up to the Skull Bash. This is why we have Skull Bash right here, everyone. You do not want to have Ice Beam in the Great League. You need Skull Bash for the Azumarill matchup right here to hit that neutral damage, and boom, there we go. We take out the Azumarill. In comes the Venusaur, expected. Hopefully we can get to the Surf in time. We cannot, but this is why we had energy on Flygon. We get to the Dragon Claw right away. This is going to be doing neutral damage to the Venusaur, and because it's Shadow, it's going to take a lot more damage. We're able to take it out. The final Pokemon is going to be that Alolan Marowak, and we already have a shield, and they just threw Shadow Ball, which means we are going to get to the Earth Power in time and win that battle. So that is a good game. All right, moving into the next battle here. I believe this is the one where I make a crucial mistake. Yeah, okay, so we have Skarmory on the lead against our Lapras right here, which is fine. This is a pretty good matchup for us. They swap right away into Vigoroth, so I'm going to go ahead and go into a Alolan Marowak right here. Not the best of matchups, but Flygon as well is going to take a lot of damage from Body Slam, so I want them to be in the situation of Bulldoze or Body Slam, and we're just not going to shield. It was a Body Slam, so that was a great call by us. We got to be going for Bone Clubs right here. It's going to be doing neutral damage, but the Fire Spin and Bone Club is going to set us up well. Plus, we could potentially flip this matchup as long as they don't land a Bulldoze, but we'll have to see. So they are going for the charge move right here. I'm not going to give up a shield just yet. They haven't shielded as well, and it is going to be a Bulldoze, but that's okay because we resist counter as well. So we're going to be going for Bone Club right here, going to be doing neutral damage. This is why I said it's okay for a Bulldoze to hit us, because we can take this match, because look at the fast moves. We're going to be able to farm down, but I decided to pull the trigger here on Bone Club just because I wanted a bit more health, plus I wasn't counting successfully how much energy I had. I didn't want to get hit with a Body Slam. Now, what we're going to see here is a mistake. This was definitely a crucial mistake by me. So Whiscash is going to come in. I'm going to go for Bone Club. I don't get it. Now, Whiscash has loaded energy, and I'm going to bring in Flygon. I think in hindsight I should have brought in the Lapras, but we bring in the Flygon right here, and we're going to build up, and I decide not to shield. This was the mistake. You gotta shield it here. They have so much energy. We get one shot by Blizzard. That's a good game. I can't do anything now with the Lapras. This is why I said I should have brought in the Lapras, because we only take neutral from the ground, the Mud Bomb, and we take resisted from the Blizzard. Plus, the Flygon can still do a lot of damage to a Skarmory endgame, and we could have gone for a Skull Bash against the Whiscash to really build up our defense as well and get shield. So that was my mistake, right? Bring in the Lapras versus the Whiscash, and you got to shield the Flygon if you bring in the Flygon, otherwise it's going to get one shot. It's very frail. You got to invest those shields. Now this game is pretty much over. I know that already. My opponent knows that. They're just going to keep going for Mud Bomb. They still have a Skarmory with full health in the back as well. There's not a lot we can do. Well played to my opponent. Great mind game there. But that Whiscash, they did the reverse of what we're trying to do, right? We bring in our Flygon to something like Alolan Marowak and farm down with Mud Shot to get a lot of energy, because energy is huge with that Pokemon. Whiscash is the same, right? You get a lot of energy. You can sweep a lot of teams as well. Especially if they're unshielded and you have Blizzard, you can one-shot those Grass-type Pokemon. So Skarmory is going to take us down with fast moves, and that is going to be a good game to my opponent. opponent. All right, moving into the next one here. Let's see how these next battles go. Okay, so Lapras on the lead here, and we have Skarmory on the lead. So another Skarmory lead right here, but this one decides to stay in, which is fine. We're okay with this. This is one of those leads where we can soft lose and just apply a lot of pressure with Surf, because Ice Shard and Surf are going to be doing neutral damage, which is fantastic. Sky Attack as well is going to do a decent amount to us, but Surf is going to do quite a bit of damage in this matchup, and we can definitely get to another one before they get to that next Sky Attack, which is fine. As you can see, Ice Shards are starting to add up. We're going to be able to get to this Surf right here, and this is where we apply that huge shield pressure. If they decide to shield, great. If they don't, we might be able to win this matchup. They do decide to shield, which is fine. Now they are going to be trying to farm us down, but I don't think they can. I can get to the Surf in time, and we're going to go ahead and let this go down. Like I said earlier, if we can get that shield advantage, set something up for a Alolan Marowak here to come in and farm energy, we are going to be able to completely farm down, which is going to be fantastic. Now, this is going to be a Sky Attack coming in. I believe on this one I decide not to shield. I think there's a later battle I do decide to shield, but that's okay. We're going to see a Whiscash now come in. So we're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball right here, apply a lot of pressure, and potentially get that second shield. That's really what we want to do. We need to chunk health or get the second shield. We do get the second shield. We're going to be able to come in with our Flygon now. Now, we learned our lesson from the last battle, right? Shield the Flygon, don't let a blizzard hit you, and we are going to be set up really well right here. It was a blizzard, so we successfully shielded right there, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and go for Earth Power right here. It's going to be doing neutral damage in the matchup, and then we're going to overload just a bit on energy and go for that Dragon Claw as quick as possible, because I don't want them to get to a Mud Bomb. So I think I did one extra Mud Shot right there. Dragon Claw here is going to be enough to finish off. Now we still have one shield. We have a Alolan Marowak. We have a Flygon. So things are looking good. They still have Skarmory with no health, and they bring in the Skarmory, which tells me whatever's in the back is just going to die. And it's going to be Azumarill, so we can just go for Earth Power right here. This is going to be doing neutral damage, but Azumarill is going to be able to get a lot of energy right here, and I need to be careful in my decision of who to shield. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Earth Power right there, and then I believe I'm going to go ahead and shield right here. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and shield right here. I can get to that next Earth Power in time. So the Ice Beam is not going to be able to take us out. Go for the Earth Power right here. And after the Earth Power, we're going to do a little flex and go into Alolan Marowak, because the Azumarill is going to be very, very low. And then we're just going to be able to farm down basically with Fire Spin. And that is going to be a good battle right there. Okay. So as we saw, we lost lead with our Lapras against that Skarmory, but with Alolan Marowak, we are able to come in, farm down with Fire Spin, and have shield advantage versus that Whiscash with the Flygon, which is essential. Okay, next battle here, we have Lapras on the lead versus another Skarmory. Seeing a lot of Skarmories today. I believe this is the same thing is going to happen. Basically, we're going to be going for Surfs right here. We're going to build up to Ice Beam. They do decide to throw right here. This is going to be Sky Attack. If they decide to go for Brave Bird, that's on them, but this was a bit too quick. And that was just a Sky Attack, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and build up to a back-to-back Surf right here. We're going to go ahead and go for it. So the first one, likely not going to get the shield right. People may not know how much damage it does, but it's definitely not going to KO. But we do get the shield, which is fine. We're going to go for the next Surf right here. And this is going to be chipping away the health of the Skarmory and setting us up in a position to come in with a Alolan Marowak again. This is a beautiful setup. We have two shields. The opponent has one shield. We can come in with our Alolan Marowak and farm down. Now, the Skarmory still has a bit of health right here, and I'm not counting successfully when I was doing this battle, so I thought, I don't want to get hit by a Brave Bird. We're going to go ahead and shield, and we're going to commit to completely farming down. No need to throw energy right here. Fire Spin does super effective damage. As you guys can see, now we're already at a Shadow Ball, which is beautiful. Even shields, but we have energy. Azumarill comes in, which is kind of tough. We're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball right here, hoping to land it and do enough chip damage, but they do decide to shield, and we're going to go ahead and go straight into Flygon right here, and they decide to swap out into Bastiodon. Not a good call right there. Not a good call. We're going to go ahead and go for Earth Power. This is going to be doing super effective damage, and we still have a shield on our side. Now, this Azumarill does have a lot of energy, but the thing is, Flygon can farm all the energy in the world off of Bastiodon. So, tough call by my opponent right there. Because they wanted to line up Azumarill versus Flygon and Bastiodon versus the Alolan Marowak. So in their situation right there, just stay in with the Azumarill, go for those Ice Beams, and look to potentially sweep endgame with Bastiodon, but there's really not a lot they can do. I go ahead and let the Flygon go down. I'm going to bring in the Alolan Marowak here, go for one Shadow Ball, and we can successfully shield the Ice Beam or whatever charge move they decide to throw. Likely going to be the Ice Beam, and we just need to get to a Bone Club right here, which is fine. So they are going to throw their charge move. It's going to be Ice Beam. We're going to go ahead and shield, and then we're going to go for the Bone Club. So a mistake by my opponent, but that's okay. We can learn from that. You guys see the matchups. Flygon absolutely destroys the Bastiodon, and there's nothing they can do to it. The Bastiodon can't do anything to the Flygon, I should say, so they wanted to keep that positive matchup. But let's go ahead and move into the next battle here. In hindsight, I don't think there was really anything they could have done because my Flygon would have beat the Azumarill anyways, just in the situation that we are in, but that's okay. We're in Lapras lead now versus Wigglytuff, and I'm like, thank Lord, stay in here. Wigglytuff's going to absolutely destroy our Flygon, so what I want to do is go for back-to-back Surfs right here because we can win basically to the CMP tile. We're going to go ahead and go for Surf. This is going to be doing a lot of neutral damage and hopefully gets a shield, and we need to go for another Surf right now, but I can't click it and they get their charge move up. I'm hoping this is just Ice Beam, but it's likely going to be a Play Rough, which is fine. We can come in with a Alolan Marowak and farm down. Fire Resist Charm, which is beautiful. As you guys can see, we're resisting the fast moves, and we're just going to be able to completely farm down. Now, we don't have shield advantage, which is really what I needed right there, but let's hope they don't have counters in the back. They have a Medicham. They brought in a Medicham to an Alolan Marowak, which tells me that, first of all, this is a terrible matchup for the Medicham, and it tells me whatever's in the back is extremely weak to Alolan Marowak, so it's likely going to be a Grass, or it could potentially be a Ground. I'm thinking in my head right now, Galvantula, potentially, that's what I'm thinking is in the back, which we have Flygon for. Now, they decided to shield the Medicham, and they're just going straight for Power Up Punch right when they get it. So I do not need to shield right here, guys. Power Up Punch is not going to do a lot of damage. Now, they're invested right now, right? They've done 2 Power Up Punches, so we're going to go ahead and throw the Bone Club for that shield bait because they will likely not let it go down. They decide to shield. Perfect. And then they decide to go for another Power Up Punch right here. Again, I don't need to shield. They're throwing it way too quick. If you're on the Medicham, you need to build up to that Psychic. That's what's going to be threatening me. But I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball. And like I said, whatever's in the back is either going to be weak to a Flygon or it's going to be weak to an Alolan Marowak. And we have 2 shields, which is fine. Final Pokemon is going to be a Bastiodon. There we go. We bring in the Flygon right here, and that's going to be a good game to my opponent. So yeah, we got rid of the Wigglytuff, which is the really tough counter to the Flygon sweep here endgame. But they didn't have the best answer to an Alolan Marowak and a Flygon, and that is going to be a good battle to my opponent. Alright, moving into the next battle here. Let's see how these battles go. Alright. We have Lapras on the lead versus Vigoroth right here. Okay, so interesting matchup. We're taking super effective damage from fast moves and neutral damage from Body Slam spam. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for a Surf and hope to get a shield right here. Body Slam is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage. We're going to go ahead and go for Surf right here. I'm really hoping to get a shield right here, and then we're going to look to potentially go into the Flygon. So we do get a shield, we go into Flygon right here and start getting ahead on energy. They're deciding to stay in, but they bring in the Azumarill. Classic matchup right here. A lot of players will do this. When they see a Flygon, which is a Dragon Ground, they want to bring in their Azumarill, which most people have, right? Because it has access to Ice Beam. But like we know, Flygon can absolutely destroy this Azumarill when you have that energy and shield advantage because of that move of Earth Power right here. So I'm going to overload on energy, and then I believe I'm going to go for a Dragon Claw on this one. No, I do go for the straight for the Earth Power right here because we're so far ahead actually that they're going to have to shield, and they do decide to shield, which is fine. We're going to be able to get to another Earth Power in time, and I'm going to go ahead and shield right here because I have so much energy. And I'm anticipating a swap. Switch clock is up, so I'm anticipating them swapping, and I'm overloading, and there's the swap where they swapped into Vigoroth, so we're going to go ahead and go straight for the Earth Power right here. It's going to be doing a lot of neutral damage, and we're going to swap into the Alolan Marowak on the charge move and farm down. So like I said, we were anticipating a swap because they swapped at the same time as us, which means when my switch clock is up, their switch clock is up, and they are out of shields, which tells me they're going to want to swap and hit a charge move. So Azumarill now comes in, which is fine. We go straight for the Shadow Ball right here. This is going to be finishing off Azumarill. Whatever's in the back has to face off against Lapras, Flygon with energy, and our Alolan Marowak Marowak with a decent amount of health, and it's going to be a Galarian Stunfisk. So the game's not over. This Galarian Stunfisk has the ability to finish off, right? It can hit super effective damage against 2 out of 3, and my third one is very, very low. So what we need to do is chip as much health as possible. That's why we went for the Bone Club right there. Charge move now coming through. It's going to be the Rock Slide, and my switch clock is up, so we have to swap out into Lapras. We have enough energy, we have enough health to force them to use their energy again. They cannot get hit with the Surf, so they gotta throw the Rock Slide, which means now we can safely come in with Flygon and go for that Earth Power to finish off this battle. This was a great dance of energy and balance on the team, and the Flygon is going to be able to finish off the battle right there, and that is going to be a good game. Now, I believe that was the final battle. Let's see here. I believe it was. Yes, it was a final battle. So that was a 5-0 set, and that was actually our 100th battle right there. As you guys can see down at the bottom, 61 wins. So a 61% win rate, which I'm actually very happy about. It's pretty solid, especially since I've been using so much spikes. We used Rainy Castform, Flygon, Galarian Farfetch'd, Kanto Ninetales. What else did we use? We used Pelipper. You guys can let me know, but there's a lot of unique Pokemon that we ran, and we ended up going very positive with all these unique teams that you guys have seen here on the channel. So there we go, almost at rank 7 right there, but like I said, I took quite a long break, which is why I'm so behind in battles. But yeah, overall, really solid. 100 battles in, 61 wins, and showcasing a lot of unique Pokemon here. And today, I think this team is definitely one of the strongest in terms of unique Pokemon. So let's go ahead and talk about the team and everything you guys need to know. Alright, heading over to pvpoke.com where you guys can do team building, battle simulations, everything you guys need to know. Now we're taking a look at the team here. I forgot to mention Flygon has a Community Day move of Earth Power as well, so there's actually 2 legacy moves here on the team. And overall, the team not too good when it comes to coverage, but that's across all of Great League, right? This team is built to counter the most commonly used Pokemon that everyone decides to run right now currently in the Great League. Now when it comes to the IVs as well, there is a video here on the channel talking about PvP IVs. My Lapras over there sadly does not have good PvP IVs. That is because it was a shiny. It was the only one I had that was a shiny with the legacy move, so I decided to go with that because PvP IVs are a give and take, and the video will definitely explain that. But Alolan Marowak and Flygon have PvP IVs. If you guys want to know more, there's going to be a video popping up right here. You guys can go check this out. Now, looking at the coverage of the team, right? Really bad coverage. Bulk is pretty good. Safety and consistency is pretty solid. Now we look at the X's and O's here. There's a lot of O's, but what this doesn't account is what we saw today. It's the intangibles of this team. That's shield and energy advantage, which is why we have that Lapras on the lead. Now we did see ourselves face off against a Venusaur, which we had to switch out right away. Same thing with Galvantula. If Galvantula was on the lead, we would swap out right away and we'd go straight into our Flygon, both of which Alolan Marowak and Flygon counter that Galvantula. But yeah, overall the team on paper does not look that solid, but you guys saw today's performance. That's because on paper it doesn't account for that shield and for that energy advantage. So as we can see, a lot of things counter this team, right? Umbreon, Lapras, Galarian Stunfisk, Shadow Machamp. The list goes on and on right here. But what we saw is like, okay, Galarian Stunfisk there. I believe it was the last battle. You know, it counters the full team, but it doesn't account for Alolan Marowak, Fire Spin, and Bone Club chipping away health and Earth Power from a Flygon, Ice Shards, and Surf. It all starts to add up and can take out a lot of meta teams, which is why I built this team. It's a lot of fun. Now, the movesets are definitely essential when it comes to this team. You can't have a Lapras without Ice Shard. Ice Shard is definitely essential. Probably be worth an elite fast team if you guys do have a few spare, or look to trade. There was a raid day a while back. I personally have saved all of mine just in case my members of the community want them, but I have like 20 Lapras that have Ice Shard and Ice Beam Legacy because it was a 3-hour raid event, so I was able to do like 20 raids and get them. Now, Flygon, you could potentially replace Earth Power with Earthquake, which is not Legacy. That's fine. Alolan Marowak, gotta have that moveset. None of them are Legacy. That's good to go. But you definitely need Mudshot and Dragon Claw as well on the Flygon. We saw specifically against that Altaria. That is exactly why it's there. Or the Whiscash battle where we chipped away the final bit of health before they got off a Mud Bomb on us. So This team, a lot of fun, and the Lapras has to have Skull Bash because of Azumarill. That is why I want to emphasize you guys need Skull Bash for the Lapras against the Azumarill matchup, because if you don't, you're only going to be doing resisted damage, but if you have Skull Bash, you can win out against Azumarill. Look at that. You win the 0, the 1, and the 2 shield with a Skull Bash Lapras. If you don't, so let's say we switch Skull Bash to Ice Beam right here, you know, Dragon Pulse as well will be resisted if you happen to have that. We start to lose these matchups. So as you can see, Azumarill starts winning them all. So Skull Bash is specifically there for Azumarill, and it is worth it because Azumarill is run so commonly. You will see at least one every single set, most likely. So you gotta have that. So yeah, that is the team. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the team, what you guys thought about the battles, and how are your guys' battles going. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.